then I think it's much better to do hybrid approach, that means integrate and retrograde together. Then even 30 millimeters, I will try to do it with integrate as well. And of course, the bend at the tip of the wire, accordingly to what is your technique and what technique you are going to use, I think is very important. And this is coming from the experience of the operator. IBUS can help also in some situation like in bifurcation occlusion, or whenever you have any side branch near the ambiguous cup, then IBUS can exactly show you where is the cap of the proximal cap, and then you can proceed. Again, here showing antegrade, when to shift. Actually, when the antegrade wire escalation is the first in shore, and then if you are not able to cross directly the occlusion, then go for antegrade dissection and reentry. And in long lesion, again, somebody is recommending to start with antegrade dissection and reentry, and if it is not successful, go for retrograde approach. But again, I will, at least in some cases, even with long lesion, would recommend to start with antegrade wire escalation. Steps for wire antegrade escalation, I think starting with myocatheter, as we said, and then the choice of the wire, it depends on the age of the total occlusion, calcification, tortuosity, and so on. So I think these steps can be changed, but the first steps should be microcatheter in order to be able to change your or escalate your guide wire in any point of the procedure. And the hybrid approach, antegrade and retrograde, in the long lesion, particularly in diffuse distal lesion also. And this implies that, as we have seen before, you are going in creating a space where you can have the re-entry for sure. And another important point, I think this will be treated by Omar, when you have bifurcation at distal cap, I think this is very challenging every time, and there are some techniques I'll not go through. I think Omar will speak about that. So for question of time, I'll just go very quickly in this. But I'd say that in bifurcation, often you combine two procedures, two approaches together in order to get full success and full access to both branches. And finally, I'll show you that after all these good imaging and schemes, sometimes you have something like this. This is LAD total occlusion, and we crossed with the wire, but unfortunately, it was in subintimate and for long segment. So we decided to stop here because not to enlarge that much the dissection. And I think that if you wait for 22 or 3 weeks and you have the patient back, you might have something like this. I'll show you how we leave it. This is at 2 months, at 2 weeks. He came, at 1 month, he came with the open vessel. It took only 15 minutes to rewire side branches, main vessel, to provisional stenting, and this was the final result. I'll show another ugly dissection in right coronary artery. Here again we crossed with the Gaia wire, and this was after pre-dilatation in proximal part. You see spiral dissection till the posterolateral and PDA. And as in the previous case, see, this was very tortuous artery, so one can expect dissection in this condition. After 1 month, this was the situation, still having double lumen, but now you can recognize exactly where is the true lumen. You can go with your wire and you will finish the procedure in 10 minutes. So sometimes simple things, just wait and watch and come back to patients after 3 to 4 weeks. Then the dissection will be healed and you might have easy work. So my take-home message is the use of latest generation dedicated wires and microcatheter improves significantly the success rate and good outcomes for patients. It's equally important to understand when and how to use each of these devices within CTO intervention. Developments in procedural strategy have an important impact in improving outcomes from CPO or ECI. Anti-grade wiring escalation is still predominant strategy in crossing short CTOs which can only be opened with a dissection-based strategy offers a safe and efficient mean to achieve this when you use appropriately the selected cases, being good selection of cases and specific experience in CTO highly impacts the outcome. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Shiban, for a very masterly presentation. As we are running behind our video, so I would request the speakers to stick to their time limits, please. Now I request Professor Omar Mukhtakin, and who will be speaking on protecting the side branches in CTO-PCI when getting how. Professor Omar Mukhtakin.
Thank you very much, Dean Coates. I'd like to talk about protecting side branches in CTO, when and how. So CTOs often have side branches at the proximal or distal cap. Some of those branches may become occluded after CTO-PCI and leads to pre-procedural medical infarction or resulting in incomplete vasodilation. This is very important, as Imad showed. If they put a stent, they lose big diagonal. Maybe secondary diagonal, they lose lost as well, which is not acceptable in terms of quality of CTO. We have to take care of big side branches, very important. So treating CTOs with a bifurcation at the distal cap can be challenging and could result in the causation of only one of the branches. I'd like to show you some examples. This is Poskevich RCA CTO patients. You know, we have to make sure side branch will not be closed by flap, as Imad showed us. So this is RCA occlusions, long RCA. We could send a wire to distal, and when we do rectal rate filling, we see that our wire is at the distal is fine. When we insert the stent, we see this appearance. It wasn't like that before. After inserting the stent, we see that there is a flap between two big branches and stent. So if we implant this stent like that, we lose this shut down two big branches, and we will have very small branch, and that also risk for early occlusion of the stent, because there will be no runoff. Runoff is very important for us. And we changed the position of the guide wire, and we implanted here, and you see that the branches are there. So another issue that we have to make sure wiring of the side branches through lumen. If you do when you do wiring of the side branch, if you go subintimal, again you will lose that branch, or you will have big dissection. This is subtotal occlusion of the OM. We tried to vire it with Frank-Cross and Pilot 50. Unfortunately, Pilot 50 went to subintimal. Easily goes. Any hydrophilic wire can go easily subintimal. Subintimal. I'm not sure if it is subintimal, but definitely intraplaque. There is a space between Y and lumen, so it could be in the plaque, you know. But we have to change this position, and we were able to vire with the filler in this patient, and we did some predilatation. And after that, we have this appearance. Of course, we have a big circ here, right? The circ is big, OM is big, so we have to take care of the side branch, and we have to wire it. When we try to wire it, you know, because we did some dilatation, and also because of the first wire, we had some dissection there. So my wire went to subintimal again, subintimal. So how can we solve this problem? Now I have to wire this branch through lumen. In that case, double lumen catheter helps us a lot. You know, because that with double lumen catheter, we can exclude all dissection parts, and we can easily wire through to through. And this is after 2 stent implantation. We have nice results. And in here, in some patients, to save the side branches, we need double lumen catheter for sure. It has to be on the shelf. And selection of the barification technique is very important for CTO. You know, we are not that much free to choose either PAT or clot or mini-crash or others. I tell you why. You know, if you do dilate 2 branches with balloons, and you know, you have only one choice to me. It's crush technique, double kissing crush technique. You can't do clot. Although I'm fond of clots, I will do mini clot, double kissing mini clot now. Almost 90% of the barification we do mini clot with double kiss. I like clot a lot in my practice. But in here, you have to choose some, you know, the other technique. For example, this is LAD CTO. My wire runs somewhere, and according to the course, I feel that this is not LAD, right? I think it's diagonal. So when we did bilateral injection, we clearly see that this is a side branch, and we have a big LAD there. So with help of IRUS, we were able to puncture the ostium of the LAD, and we wired it, and we did some dilatations. Both because diagonal was so big and diseased, so we did a balloon diagonal and also LAD. And after this stillation, I can't do clot, because for clot, after stamping, I have to recross the stent and the vessel. Right? If you do dilatation, especially if you do dilatation in the CTO, you will have lots of dissection, small dissection. You don't see them by eye, but there is. So in that case, I can't use clot. The only technique I could use here is the crush technique. So we have used the crush technique here. This is stuck on the diagonal. We just crushed it. We recrossed it. We did kissing. This is the final result. So we save both arteries. How about this case? How about this case? This is also a LAD occlusion after diagonal. From other view. It's nice LAD. We wire it, right? We did dilatation. And we have good diagonal. Of course, we have to take care of it. Right? At first, I thought we can do provisional, but sometime later we had some hematoma or spasm, I don't know well, but we had some issue at the ostium of the diagonal, right? So at that time I thought, okay, this is big artery. LAD was occluded anyway, and LAD was spliced by correctors, but this diagonal is big one, and I have to take care of it. So I thought it's okay, I can do cloth here, from diagonal to diagonal first wire, and then I can rewire it, and then I do cloth, right? So I did stand from left main to lady to diagonal, and after that I required to send the other stand. But what happened here? When I tried to rewire it, my wire went to Savitima, and I had a dissection, and my wire is in Savitima somewhere. I don't know exactly where is the exit of the Savitima space. But obviously, if I use this wire now, I will lose lots of side branches. I shave them.